Welcome into part 2. So let's start the work. We have to start from the materials. Why materials? From the game purposes, we have to attach a special material that's called multi-sub object. The multi-sub object material is a material that contains many other materials. You can set the number of it. Usually I'm going with 12 or 30 at the beginning. So because we have to have the spare material IDs for the other objects of the car, we are attaching the material to the car, and by now that's all. This is race car, so first 3 IDs are set for the bodywork. Usually I'm starting to top, right and left. Fourth material is windows. Let's say fifth will be the chassis, and by now that's all we need. Chassis is the material ID that will contain the floor, suspension, some of the small objects of the car like screws, caps, etc. Top ID will contain the top part of the car. Why we split this into 3 IDs? The biggest the part will be on the texture, the better quality will achieve, and because this is a race car, it's meant to be covered with all those commercials, brandings, some logos, markings, etc. It can be pretty small objects that needs to be sharp, not blurred, not pixelized. So 3 IDs are set because we just need better quality of the body texture. In the normal road car, probably the body will be just 1 ID with stretching, but here we need really nice texture that allow a lot of graphics schemes or the brand logos, etc. Windows, well, windows are hard to explain because it's not only the windshield or the side windows. Those ID contains everything that needs transparency, so whenever we will use the meshes on the car, for example here in the bonnet, these most selected polygons are gonna be a mesh. Same here. That's also needs transparency, so it will be on the window ID. And finally, chassis will contain the floor, suspension, diffuser, small object, antenna, etc. like I said before, but it won't contain the engine parts. Engine parts will have its own ID material, just because of the final result we need to achieve with these parts. So as I said before, we'll start to work on the diffuser. Diffuser will go on the chassis. We need to apply the checker map on this. Why checker? Checker will show how much stretched is our texture. It will allow us to make the texture just better. Let's hide everything what we don't need. So engine, interiors, wing monocoque, bonnet and engine cover. So we are left with the diffuser itself. As you can see, it's fully symmetrical, so no matter if if we have the symmetry tools or not, we can use it to create this. So we need to affect pivot center to the object. Done. And we're just deleting the half of the diffuser to left just one of the part. And now we have to map it. Because it's done with the carbon fiber, you don't need the really nice texture on it. It's only important thing here is that waves of the carbon fiber will follow the car pretty nicely. So we don't need to care about stretching cut so much as in normal textures. So let's start selecting few polys. And we will apply the UVW map. So one of the most important things here is the size of the gizmo. Gizmo is that yellow area shown in the Vive port now. It has to be complete square. I usually set the dimension of it to 100 by 100. Doesn't matter, it's meters, centimeters, inches, millimeters, whatever it is. All important is it has to be square and the same size have to be applied to everything of the car. So if I set here 100 to 100, I will map diffuser with that size of gizmo and body and engine and everything else of the car, and by that I will achieve the same scale of the car at the end of the process. So I won't have to scale down or up the parts in the UVW Explorer. I will just have to move them, set them in the right place. So first part mapped, we will apply the chassis part to it. Next parts. As you can see, I'm not selecting everything here. Why? Because I will use grow option, build in max, just to have all what I need selected. Now I will unselect the polygons I don't need. So selecting done. Again, UVW map. Now we have to change the orientation of the gizmo. Again, 100 by 100. Collapse 2. Select set ID 5. And now, because we are left with only the polygons that we will have to map at once, just click on that, select by the ID. So we have the half of the diffuser mapped, and now it's hard to see, but it's pretty well stretched. I will show you it right now. As you can see, sides of the diffuser are pretty well stretched. That's not what we want to achieve, but we will not care about this at this moment. Now we will apply the symmetry tools to the diffuser. Flip. Make sure that the mirror is at 0 point. Collapse 2. Back again to the unwrap UVW. Edit. Select by the alignment, and we will have to weld the parts of the diffuser. The welding, you can enter the welding mode into steps, or tools weld, target weld polygons. We don't have to care really if it's placed well or not in this particular element. Just weld down the center seam edge. You can also access the target weld by hitting Ctrl T. And we are pretty much done. Now we need to rip out these stretched parts of the diffuser. As you can see, on the back side is really well checkered everywhere. So select, we'll use relax tool, relax by face angles, start relaxing. As you can see, it moved a bit. It just fixed the position of the center line, and now we will do the same with the main parts of the diffuser. Start relax. As you can see, the parts of the diffuser, the polygons are moving away, and they unwrap itself pretty nicely. And as you can see now, as the result is the checker, pretty nice checker everywhere on the diffuser. It won't work pretty well with the normal texture when you will have to do, I don't know, things like commercials, some painting scams, so it's not perfect tool for using on the body parts, but on the things like carbon fiber, small objects in the engine, in the interior, it's a pretty nice tool because it keeps the stretching as low as possible. And that allows you to create better texture of things like carbon fiber, leather, and things like that. Not working every time. As you can see here, it will take pretty more time to unwrap it with the bottom part. It first turn around it to have the same orientation as the top part, but we can pretty much help it manually by moving out some polygons that it have to work on. And back again. Pretty nicely. As you can see, the scale of the parts are not kept. To have it in the same scale, you have to select everything, click relax once again, and it will relax it to the same scale of every part. It doesn't really, you don't really have to wait until it ended up by itself. When you are satisfied with the result, just click stop. And so we have the diffuser pretty well collapsed and unwrapped. This is really easy to texture now, because you don't have to care about anything. You just put the texture of the carbon fiber on this and it just will look fine. You don't have to connect the seams, connect the waves, just attach the, just apply the carbon fiber map, and that's all.